Welcome to our media news review here at Prime Media TV. I am Treasure Machuku reviewing with you. And on today's story, we have 25 million Nigerians received 25,000 conditional cash transfer from federal government. The federal government on Thursday said 25 million Nigerians have so far received 25,000 conditional cash transfer. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edu, disclosed this while briefing State House correspondents shortly after the National Economic Council meeting chaired by Vice President Kashim Shettima. He enumerated the steps taken by the President Bola Tinubu's administration to provide relief for Nigerians following the suffering occasioned by the removal of subsidies and other policy reform being implemented by the government. Here is the story, and I'm surprised that 25,000 is what the government is publishing. Proudly publishing that they have given as a measure to cushion the effect of the hard policies they've acknowledged on Nigerians, when they know that this amount they are mentioning cannot even buy a bag of rice. It cannot buy a bag of beans. It cannot buy a bag of gari. It cannot buy anything in the market. As a matter of fact, a family of 3 cannot cook a day meal with that amount. But with me here in the studio to review with you is my colleague, Ignited Ayo. Good to have you in the show.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So I would like to hear your thoughts. 25 million Nigerians. We know this administration to be bent on palliatives. They see that as the best measures to solve the problem. I don't know who is giving them that idea. So what can you say about this development, 25,000 naira to Nigerians? What do you think? Do you think that money can actually, if truly the people have received it, do you think it has any effects on the people?
Okay, I'll start with what you said earlier. You said the 25,000 naira cannot even buy a bag of rice, but then it can buy quarter bag of rice and you collect 500 naira change.
Okay.
The last time we went to the market, a bag of rice, quality rice, was sold at 98,000 naira.
Almost 100, approximately
almost 100,000 naira. So if you are to use the 25,000 naira to buy a bag of rice, a quarter bag of rice, you buy for 24,500 naira, and you have 500 naira change that will take you home. So possibly transportation. So that's what that can do. And secondly, I want to say that I don't know. I have always thought I'm a Nigerian, but it is today that I get to know that I'm not a Nigerian. Because if I am in Nigeria, I should be among the 25 million people that has received this money. And the third thing I will say concerning this is that why is it that we only get to know statistics when they are sharing money? But when it comes to the number of people who are affected by different issues in the country, we don't get to know statistics. So I would like to ask the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edu, what was the statistics they used to measure the 25 million Nigerians who received this money? What is it, the census from 2012 that they are still using to measure Nigerians, or how were they able to know the vulnerable Nigerians who needed this money and they made this transfer to them? Earlier this morning, I had seen, what's this man's name? Hosseini Rufai, the journalist from Arise TV. He had asked the same question. If you have received the 25,000 naira as from the federal government, can you just raise up your hand under this comment? And going through the comments, out of thousands of people who responded to that post, I didn't see anyone who said they've gotten the money. So the question is, who were the beneficiaries of this 25 million? Both 25,000 naira to the 25 million people Nigerians that they have given the money to. But according to the report that we have here, the report here is saying that they gave out the money through the student loan scheme. I have not heard. I have not seen people who have collected the student loan.
The student loan scheme is a different thing on its own.
That was actually what they said. They said they gave out the money through the student loan scheme. So that's good, because all the people that I have seen would or have heard talk about the student loan scheme, most of them are saying they could not meet the requirements, where their parents are not civil servants. Talk more of having the amount of money they say their parents are needs to have in their
Yeah,
bank
account.
accounts before they can give out the loan. So the statistic that they use to measure that they give out this loan to students is still questionable. Once again, I am saying that I'm not in Nigeria. If I am a Nigerian, I should be a
Mm,
part of this
mm,
benefit.
mm. Well, personally, I have issue with the way the measures the government are coming up. We understand that under this administration, we hear, I don't want to use the word lies, but we hear things that are not aligned with what we are seeing. All right. And the only way we can verify and confirm things that are being said is when it matches with the realities. Okay. So for them to give us, this is one of the, should I call it, if we call it Lamba, or one of the audio, let it just be that they are giving us account. But when you are given account, there are procedures to accounting. Okay. You give in-depth accounting that anybody, even a little child, will hear and understand that yes, these people are accountable. They are giving account. All right. We don't see pictures of people who have received this money. You just like you said, nobody in the comment section from Arise TV was able to say yes that I'm a recipient of this money. Now, what is not my concern is, even if it is true that people have received this money, what can they do with that money? How long can that money sustain Nigerians currently? Now, instead of channeling, just imagine 25,000 times how many 25 million Nigerians. Multiply it and you see what it be. This money can actually be channeled into something that Nigerians can see. Yes, the governments are working. All right. So, but we see that our government, our leaders, they channeled fund into, they misappropriate their energies. All right. They don't channel energy into a way that everybody will benefit and it will be very open without asking questions. You get to see what they are doing. But now I would like to ask you, do you think, even if it is true that they have released this money, do you think it's actually the right thing to do for Nigerians, considering how bad the economy is? Do you think it's the right measure from the government?
So let me respond to the part of we didn't see pictures of people who has collected this money. The thing is, should they release picture now and the little 25,000 naira they have collected, bandits or armed robbers will go and
Mm,
collect the money from them?
mm,
Because we see that over time in the country, Nigerians are usually the problem of Nigeria.
mm,
There was a time in one community very close to me like that they were breaking into shops, breaking into people's shop, people who were managing their lives. There was a woman I heard that they broke into her shop and they cut away with all her goods, all the food stuff she has in the house. There was another house they broke into, even the pot of rice that they cooked overnight, they took the pot, the remaining rice,
mm.
cooked rice, they took it with them, which is to say that hunger is really a thing in the country. So should they have released picture, maybe some people will go and hijack the 25,000 naira from them. Now, answering to what the federal government could have done instead of giving out the money, I think sometimes, even as Nigerians, I am always trying to be careful so that I won't contradict myself when I'm responding to certain questions. We on this table would say that the federal government needs to do something for the now, to take care of the now, even while they're working on their long-term goals. But the problem is that we are not always clear on the what they should be doing for the now. And for the federal government, they may be hearing things such as this. They will say, okay, the people are saying we should do something for the now. And their own definition of doing something for the now is giving people food to eat at the moment, or giving them money to take care of themselves at the moment. And on the long run, you realize that what they are doing is not the expectations of Nigerians. So I think we should be clear on what we want the government to be doing for the people now. Let's say we want the government to focus on electricity. Okay, that is what you should channel your energy on now, even while you are working on your long-term reforms. or maybe we want the government to give subsidy on power or subsidy on some sectors. I was listening to a conversation on the hospitals that closed, and we had the conversation in the morning view. And those hospitals, we are looking at, okay, they are shutting down due to electricity. That, okay, they can actually subsidize for hospitals. You can't expect to put hospitals in band A and expect them to be paying band A tariff. These are people providing service for the people. You can subsidize for them. So I think the response to that question would be that when we are asking the government to do something for the now, we should be clear on what we want them to do. So maybe the people doing PR for the federal government, they will be saying that, okay, I think what the people need now is food. So maybe if we are clear enough on what we want for now, the government will look at it like, okay, these people are not interested in the food. They can actually sort themselves and all of that. Maybe they have to just do a joint cooking. Okay, there was a video they circulated on the social media last week, and it was in retaliation to what the Senate President Akpabio had said, that Nigerians, wherever you see free food, just make sure you binge on it. Eat anywhere you see free food. And Nigerians truly saw free food in the market, and they dig their hands into it. So now, responding to what they could have done, personally for me, I don't like when you are just giving something that will take care of the issue at the surface, and on the long run it won't take care of it. If you give me 25,000 naira now, I can tell you categorically, with just doing like this, I have finished spending 25,000 naira, because a week 25,000 naira is not even sustaining me and my family. In a week, if I'm to calculating number for number, digit for digit of what we are spending in a week, it is not enough to sustain us. But then we have been receiving sustenance. So what could you have done? Listen to the plight of the people. What is the major issues that the people are complaining about? If transportation to where people are going to is still very expensive like that, it's part of the things taking people's money. Imagine at a time like this in Nigeria, you're earning below 500,000 naira, you're still a poor man in this country. So now the people are complaining about transportation. So what can we do for the people? You said you are working on CNG. So let's say you want to take care of the needs of the people. Let's say you have people working. There are a lot of, let's say, people living in Ibejuleki axis now, and they are working on the mainland. You can say, okay, we are giving 5 CNG buses to cater for transportation of people living in Ibejuleki to mainland. Make sure you get to the meeting point at exactly 4 a.m. or at exactly 5 a.m. Instead of paying 1,000 naira to your destination, you'll be paying 300 naira. Like that, people are able to save money. Because you see that it's not like people are not working. No, they are working, but they are spending too much on transportation. They are spending too much on feeding and all of that. So by the time they are able to save little on transportation, they can use that money to do something else. So like that, you have taken care of their transportation needs. Now let's extend it to food. You see, I was listening to somebody and I concurred with what she said. Our churches are the best places. They are best people manager. Have you ever gone to Redeem Camp and you see where they are sharing food and there's stampede? Never. You never see that. I was at the convention in August. They shared food. Despite millions of people who came to the camp, they shared food. There was no pushing or running over people. What was the strategy that they used to share that thing? And there was no stampede like that. Now, you want to take care of the needs of the people. All this 25,000 naira they are sharing is audio money. Go and give this money to churches. Okay, Redeemed, we see the way you share food in your church every month. There's no stampede. People don't complain that they didn't get food. Food circulates to people. What was the method you use in sharing that money? Okay, for all the people who are attending Redeem, we are dedicating this amount of money to you. Share it to your people. Go to another church. Everybody in the society belong to an organization. The Muslims, they belong to an organization. Share it to those people so it can reach the common man that need the money. But then in my head again, I'm thinking, what if they give it to a church leader, or if they give it to a Muslim leader and the person swallow the money? What will become of it? But I'm just looking at it that, okay, that's the primary need of the people. Take care of their transportation, take care of part of their feeding, and let's see how effective that is going to be, instead of these 25 million Nigerians. I'm not among the 25 million because I didn't receive any money.
All right. You see, you've touched a lot of areas, and I will just, buttress some of just few of them. You see, you talked about this transportation measure. You see, you mentioned churches. Churches use that too. Discover that when churches are having a program or they're having like a combined service, they make provision for vehicles. So thereby people coming from far distance will have no excuse as to why they will not be able to attend that program. You see, the government knows what to do, because I believe that is the why we have ministers. Every sector have somebody overseeing them, right? So it is all a matter of, okay, you are in charge of transport. What is the challenge we are facing, the people are facing? Why you are a transport minister is for you to know the problem the people are facing in time of transportation. Okay, you are in charge of the electricity. What is the challenge going on there? So yours is to ask, the ministers and as many that are occupying any position is to report to the federal government. You see, government has the capacity to attend to more than one problem at a time. All right. This money we are talking about now, how is it being monitored to be sure that these people actually get this money, to be sure that the amount that are being released is actually being shared? Because we discovered that these people are rich, but they are not satisfied. All right. The little they are given to give to the masses, they still want to convert it. All right. So it is not enough for government to come up with measures. It is equally more important that they scrutinize the process. They ensure that the people, the rightful people, get these things. And on a final note, I will say that, you see, there are so many things the government has the capacity to do. All right. And I will always make mention of, before these people assume office, there were promises. There were things you saw someone else not doing well that you believe you have the capacity if given the opportunity. All right. So I don't see the problem Nigeria is facing now as a surprise. It shouldn't be a surprise to our leader. It shouldn't be a surprise to our president. He saw it. He saw it when Buhari was there. He saw, and he promised that he was going to do better. Whatever made him make those promises, there must be measures in his mind that, yes, if I'm there as number one citizen, I can do this. All right. In the same way he was able to change the national anthem and nobody, countered him. He has the capacity to do so many things. All right. And you see, it is bad that we have leaders who know what to do, but they are not willing to do it. We have leaders. It is bad that we have people who have been compensated with positions. So now we have wrong hands occupying some position. They cannot deliver. That is why we have these issues we're having in the country. Some people in power today are should I say is a form of compensation to them. Oh, promise that have been made to them, do this thing for me, I will put you somewhere. That is why the point where we are in Nigeria today. So 25,000 naira as a relief measure is not actually any form of relief, because just within yesterday night till this moment I spent more than 30K. All right, more than 30K is not for food. All right, so and just imagine a family of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on food, on transportation, just to move around within Lagos alone. But this money cannot do anything. So instead of sharing money, why not look for something else that, yes, the people will feel? And like you mentioned, going to church, going to mosques, going to this. If not that corruption has entered even the religious sectors, honestly, I would have said, yes, what you suggested is a good thing. But don't be surprised. Once that money should get to some religious leaders, then no man comes in. Yeah. My family member, my community people, you see leaders, people with preferential treatment, right? So what I would just say finally is that the government can do better than they are doing. And like you said, what statistics are they using for this exercise they are carrying out? How do they know the most vulnerable Nigerians? Which bank did they use? How did they? Is it that these people submitted their account number, or they went to bank and say, okay, send social amount to all your account holders? How do they know the vulnerable people? Because they're always talking about most vulnerable. Everybody is vulnerable in the country. So on this, I would say the federal government can do better than they are doing. And giving people 25,000 in a time like this, that they have acknowledged that there is hunger in the land. 25,000 is nothing close to their hardship allowance they are taking. 25,000 is nothing close to any of their allowances, even their newspaper allowance. All right, so it cannot do anything. All right, it's just like somebody is hungry and you are pinching food pinch food and give to that person. All right. So, and how long will that, after the 25,000, what next? How long is that going to happen? Is it going to be continuous or just for 6 months or for 1 year? All right. The problem Nigeria is going through now is beyond 25,000. So the government should do better. So on this note, we would like to hear your own thoughts. We would like to hear your own comments. What do you feel? What do you think about this 25,000? Have you received? Aya said she's not a Nigerian because if she is, she would have received.
it.
I don't. Anyway, I'm a Nigerian, but I have not received. So if you have received, do well to tell us in our comment section in whatever platform you are watching us from, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. On this website, we are currently watching us, NG Speak. Please do well to drop your comment. Till I come your way again on Monday, do have a restful day.